Welcome to our home defense course. Thank you for signing up, and I am stoked that you're here. First, let's go over the 4 weapon safety rules. The first weapon safety rule is treat every weapon as if it is loaded, even when you know that it's not. The second weapon safety rule is never point your weapon at anything you aren't willing to destroy. The third weapon safety rule is keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you're up on target and ready to fire. And the fourth rule is know your target and what lies beyond. Now let's clear out our pistol to ensure we aren't training with a loaded gun. First, attempt to put your weapon on safe. Then remove the magazine. Lock your slide to the rear. Conduct your 3-point check of your chamber, magazine well, and slide face. Make sure all 3 areas are clear of any bullets. Then send your slide home. And now we know we're working with a completely cleared out pistol and we can safely dry fire. If for any reason you're unable to ensure your pistol is completely clear, do not continue training with this video. Today's lesson has 4 sections. We're going to start off by learning a good defensive stance, and then we're going to cover how to pick up your pistol with a good firing hand grip. Then we're going to move on and learn how to properly marry our hands together and punch out with a good natural point of aim. And when I say punch out, I just mean point your pistol at your target. And then finally, we're going to finish by combining all these steps together so that we instill good muscle memory for future training. Let's get to work. All right, so the very first thing we have to learn how to do is get into a proper stance. And this is very easy. A lot of people overcomplicate this, but go ahead and pan down. If you're a righty, your lead foot is your left foot. If you're a lefty, your lead foot is your right foot. But you want your left or your lead foot out front, just like in a proper fighting stance, right? One leg slightly back, cocked out a little bit, kind of on the balls of your feet. Go ahead and pan back up. You're going to lean slightly forward. And the reason you want to lean slightly forward is because when you fire your pistol, it's going to recoil. And if you're standing up straight, it's going to kind of push you back and it's going to put you off balance a little bit. So slightly lean forward, just like you would if you're about to get into a fight. You wouldn't fight like this, right? If you're going to play baseball and this isn't your athletic stance, lean slightly forward. And then when you punch out your arms, you're just going to punch them out completely straight. Sometimes people shoot like this, but it makes it hard to shoot over here. It's easy for me to come this way, but it's harder for me to come this way. And when you put both your arms out straight, it allows you to move left and right. Your stance allows you to move all over the place. And this is a good defensive situation because you never know where you're going to have to shoot or where you're going to have to move. And this allows you to do all of those things. So this is your stance. This is how you should shoot all the time if you want a good defensive stance. All right, let's jump right into it. So let's pick up our pistol. Remember the 4 things you need to remember: high firm grip, high middle finger on the trigger guard, finger straighten off the trigger, and thumb out of the way. And the way that you make sure that you get a good, consistent, repeatable grip every single time is you take your support hand and you pull it in to your firing hand grip. And that way it feels the exact same way every time. If you don't do that, it'll be a little bit different each time. And you want to make sure it's repeatable because consistency is key when it comes to pistol shooting. And as I'm talking, you can just go at your own pace. Just try and listen in the background. But you don't have to follow me rep for rep. High firm grip, high middle finger, finger straighten off the trigger, thumb out of the way. And the reason you want to have a repeatable process is especially for a defensive shooting situation. It's good for pistol shooting in general, but when you're training specifically for defensive shooting techniques, you're not going to be thinking about all these small things in a real world situation. So if you can train your mind to think about, okay, this is the only way I pick up a pistol, then when you're under pressure and your heart is racing and you have tunnel vision and your adrenaline's pumping, you don't have to think about it. You just do it one way and you do it correctly. This is going to be probably the most informationally dense video too in the course. And so if you find that it's a little overwhelming, just take it in strides. You're not going to learn all of this in one day. And I repeat everything going forward. So I remind you of all of these different concepts in future videos. But grip, there's so many things that go into grip and they're simple concepts. But once you start building everything on top of each other, it can start to be a little overwhelming. So this would be the one video that if you feel a little overwhelmed, this would be the one video I would recommend watching twice before you continue on if you feel a little overwhelmed by all of the information. If you feel good about it, feel free to just move on. But if you feel like, oh my gosh, that was like a lot of information, this is really the only video where you're going to feel like that. So watch this video twice, not in a row, give it a day, 2 days, and then watch it again. Because watching it twice in a row is going to be kind of like cramming for a test. And you want to learn this over a period of time. High firm grip, high middle finger, finger straighten off the trigger, thumb out of the way. Let's do it one more time. Really think about these concepts. High firm grip, high middle finger, finger straighten off the trigger, thumb out of the way, pull it into your hand. And now that we feel good about our firing hand, let's get into getting our support hand on the gun. All right, let's go ahead, pick up our pistols and work on that support hand grip. So remember to pull the pistol into your firing hand, high firm grip, high middle finger on the trigger guard, finger straighten off the trigger, thumb out of the way, index finger high to the trigger guard, and you can just kind of fold everything into place, maximum contact between the palm of your hand and the frame of the pistol here, or you can put your hands parallel and then just tilt the support hand forward until it slides into place that way. Once you get your high index finger maximum contact with your support hand, bring everything high and forward. Beginners have a tendency to bring everything down and back. So bring everything high and forward. Your thumbs should be relaxed. You don't want to do what's called thumbing the pistol, which is pushing the pistol with your thumbs, because once you put your finger on the trigger, there's not going to be any equal and opposing force on this side of the gun. So your thumbs should be completely relaxed. When you shoot a pistol, your thumbs do absolutely nothing. They just lightly sit on the slide, or you can even have them slightly off. It's personal preference, but your thumbs do nothing when it comes to controlling your pistol. So index finger high to the trigger guard, maximum contact, high and forward, thumbs relaxed. From your chest, you punch out, and then you vice grip down with your support hand as hard as you can without shaking. And you're always going to shake a little bit, obviously, human nature. Even surgeons shake, but it shouldn't be any more normal. You shouldn't shake any more than you normally do. Once you start shaking excessively because you're gripping too hard, that's when you pull back, and that's like your sweet spot right there. So index finger high to the trigger guard, maximum contact, high and forward, thumbs relaxed, punch out, vice grip down with your support hand as hard as you can without shaking. And once you punch out, just really focus. You can even close your eyes, but I want you to focus on, okay, how does my grip feel? Is everything high and forward? Do I have good contact between my support hand and the gun? Is my hand actually on the gun, or is it just kind of like off? Is it vice grip down? At the end of our videos, your hand should be like slightly tired, because if you're gripping down with your support hand for like 5, 6, 7 minutes out of the video, your hand eventually should be getting tired. So if at the end of the videos, your hand's not tired, you're not practicing correctly. You don't have to be like exhausted. You don't have to be like tiring yourself out. You shouldn't be stressed, right? You should be relaxed, but you should have good pressure on your support hand. Index finger high to the trigger guard, maximum contact, high and forward, thumbs relaxed, punch out, vice grip down with your support hand. And I'm going to beat vice gripping down with your support hand to a pulp when it comes to this course, because, we're going to get into sight alignment next video, and then trigger control, and then point shooting, and eventually multiple target engagement, all these different things. And it's easy to forget, your hand just kind of naturally relaxes when you get all these other ideas forming in your head. But there's either a 70-30 or 80-20 rule, kind of depending on the shooter, but 70 to 80% of the control of your firearm comes from your support hand gripping on your gun. 20 to 30% comes from your firing hand. Remember, your firing hand should feel like the same pressure as you have when you're holding a hammer coming down on a nail. And you want to make sure that you have good support hand grip, because if you don't, you have to control this gun somehow. One way or another, this gun you have to grip it hard enough so it doesn't fly out of your hands. And you're either going to do that with your support hand, or you're going to do it with your firing hand. And if you do it with your firing hand, I'll explain in video 3 why that's so detrimental. But suffice it to say, make sure that you vice grip down with your support hand. And I will, again, beat this to a pulp throughout this course. Because if you can remember to always vice grip down with your support hand and just make that muscle memory, then you will have good control over your firearm, which will allow you to take good follow-up shots. It'll make you feel in control. It'll make you a confident shooter. But it's just easy to forget once you start building all these bricks, on top of one another as you kind of build your shooting foundation. So remember, index finger high to the trigger guard, maximum contact, high and forward, relaxed thumbs, punch out, vice grip down. And one thing I'd like you to do real quick is come back and we're going to close our eyes and then punch out. We're going to check our natural point of aim. So close your eyes, punch out, and then open your eyes. And is your pistol straight or is it canted like this? And I'm exaggerating, but if your pistol is canted in your hands, literally just take it, turn it, and remember how that feels, and that's your new grip. So it can be easy to, if you're looking at your pistol, to kind of force it to go center. So close your eyes and make sure that you have a good natural point of aim without using your eyes to correct. And once you open it up, as long as your pistol is straight, you have good natural point of aim. Index finger to the trigger guard, maximum contact, high and forward, thumbs relaxed, punch out, vice grip down. Make sure your grip feels good. You want it to be comfortable too, because if you don't have a comfortable grip, then you're not going to want to train, right? So it should be comfortable, but it should be correct. Let's do this 2 more times, and we'll be good to go. Last one. Remember, vice grip down with that support hand. All right. Hopefully you feel good with getting that firing hand grip and then that support hand grip. Now let's marry this process together and do the whole thing all in one motion. All right, let's go ahead and practice this process for the next couple minutes. So high firm grip, high middle finger, finger straighten off the trigger, thumb out of the way, index finger to the trigger guard, maximum contact high and forward, or tilt your hand forward, bring that index finger up to the trigger guard. Punch out. Thumbs relaxed and vice gripping down with that support hand. As you become more advanced too, you're not going to tilt your hand forward like that. You're just going to take your pistol, place it down on your index finger, place that trigger guard down on your index finger, and that's what's going to tell you, all right, my support hand is exactly where it needs to be, because every time I place it down on that index finger, that's where it needs to go. And it's awkward to kind of tilt your hand right here. So as you become more advanced, just know that you're going to eventually just place that gun on your index finger and then just fold everything into place. Remember to bring that pistol into your chest and punch out. Remember that from the Pistol Fundamentals video. That way we have good positive control. We're instantly lethal. And then we punch out. Pull that pistol into your hand. Index finger to the trigger guard. Maximum contact, high and forward. Thumbs relaxed. Vice gripping with our support hand. And you should bend your arms only slightly. So you basically lock them all the way out and then bend them just a little bit. And the reason you want to do this is because bending them slightly acts as shock absorbers. If you just lock your arms all the way out, then every time your gun fires, it's going to kind of push you back a little bit. But if you have slightly bent arms, your arms will just bend slightly a little bit more, and then you come back down to where you were. The reason you don't want to bend them any more than that is because you're not really getting any more benefit. But also, what's the difference between this and this and this and this and this? Right? It's hard to be repeatable if you bring it in any further. It's also not really comfortable. But the easy repeatable process is all the way out and then slightly back. So it's not that you punch all the way out and then you come slightly back. It's just easy to remember. Okay, you just punch out until you're almost locked, and that's where you go. All right, hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit better with your grip. And if you need a little bit more time with this, just watch the whole video one more time. I mean, grip is really important. These first 3 videos are like crucial to having a good foundation. So if you need a little bit more time, just take the time that you need. Also, this downward canted wrist will help with recoil management, because it's not that you're actively pushing down, but when the gun recoils and comes up, your wrist that's angled down will naturally kind of bring your pistol back down to your target. So another good reason to have a solid support hand is that it will help you take quicker and more accurate follow-up shots, which is important in a defensive shooting situation, because the chances of you having to take more than one shot is high. And the last thing I can tell you, when it comes to training and pistol shooting in general, and throughout all of these videos, just relax. Shouldn't be tense. Shouldn't be, it's called turtlenecking. Don't bring your head down to the pistol and tense up your shoulders. Bring the pistol up to your eyes, and you're gonna bend your head down slightly, but don't come down like this. Don't tense up your shoulders. You should be nice and relaxed. Let's do this one more time. We will be done. Focus on your fundamentals. Pull that pistol into your hand. Vice grip down with your support hand, maximum contact. Think about how it feels. And if you need a little bit more time, either watch this video again or just pause or just do it a little bit more on your own time. But that is how you grip your pistol. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you feel a lot better gripping your pistol. And until next time, stay safe, live free, and I'll see you soon.